What is up, everybody? Welcome to another brand new live episode of the Hot Mic here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always fresh from his trip to Toronto to see all the big movies coming out this year and maybe a couple next year. That is the Sneider himself, Jeff Sneider. How are you, Jeff?
Hello, Johnny boy!
Ooh, put it on the table. Listen to that energy. Look at you. The sunglasses. You too fucking cool for us now. You've been at a film festival hobnobbing with celebrities. So you can't take the sunglasses off. What's going on?
I told Johnny boy that my head is killing me. I've barely slept all week. I got a migraine headache. I got this fucking Zoom light staring me in the face.
Yeah.
There was a redesign on Beehive with the newsletter, and there's some like bug or something. It's glitching where like the screen keeps like scrolling down as I'm like reading it or trying to make changes and stuff.
Weird.
So like my eyes are just like killing me. I've been doing that for like the last 3 hours. I'm gonna change sunglasses throughout the show though to keep it interesting. You guys can tell me at the end of the show which pair I look best in.
It's so ridiculous. All right, well there you go. That's what's going on. Apparently he could do a whole FYC without sunglasses, but the hot mic, we got to put the sunglasses.
That was hours ago. I was literally 4 hours ago.
But we are happy that you all are hanging out with us. We're going to have some fun. I mean, this is the place to be, for God's sakes. There's so much we're going to get into from the world of entertainment. You know, sadly, we couldn't do a show last week. Jeff was in Toronto, so we got a lot to make up for. There's a lot to cover here. Going to get into Spider-Man 4 casting, Lanterns casting. Yes, we're going to talk about the Spider-Verse drama. We're definitely going to get into your Streamlabs and Superchat, some trailers, some reviews. That lawsuit that Francis Ford Coppola has launched against Variety. A lot we're getting into, and if anything breaks during the show, obviously, we'll cover it in real time during the show. And a quick reminder, Streamlabs Super Chats are open. You know, the last few weeks, we haven't been so strong on those Streamlabs and Super Chats, so we'd love it if you guys could chime in and send in your support and love for the show, the questions, thoughts, and comments. You guys love the irreverence of the show. You guys love the fact that we don't give a fuck when we talk about shit. So send in your love for us to keep us going here on the
What do you think we do this show for? The love of the game? Yes. We do it for the money.
And he's joking, so all of you super serious fuckers don't take it and make it seem as if that's what he's actually saying, for God's sakes. All right, let's move on. Let's start with the Spider-Man 4 stuff here, Jeff. This is a big deal. Destin Daniel Cretton is in talks to direct Spider-Man 4. If you remember, he was going to do the Kang Dynasty film until the Jonathan Majors stuff blew up. He is currently doing Wonder Man series with Yahya Abdul-Mateen, but also we haven't had a Shang-Chi 2, and people have been clamoring for that film to get a sequel. Simu Liu, probably the biggest one, waving a flag, waiting to get a sequel for this. So the fact that he is in talks to do a Spider-Man 4, this is a different director than John Watts in terms of approach and experience and style. So when you hear this conversation, what does this let you know about where Marvel and Sony are going with the overall story? And where do you think this film is going to be placed?
I don't know where it's going to be placed or whatever, but like,
okay,
to me, it just says fuck or walk.
To
Fuck
who?
or walk.
To who?
Destin Daniel Cretton to Marvel.
Okay.
Okay. Like, okay, I did Wonder Man for you guys.
Oh,
are we doing Shang-Chi 2, or am I going to do some big franchise somewhere else? I'll go do fucking Twisters 3 or fucking Jurassic gives, whatever it is.
Interesting.
Right?
Okay.
And I think they're like, we don't want to let this guy go. There's nothing on Shang-Chi 2. There's no script. There's no treatment. Come on. I mean, and the first movie made what, $430 million?
On a $220 million budget.
That is not what Kevin Feige gets out of bed in the morning for.
Yeah, well, it was during COVID. It was released during COVID. So.
That's fair. Yeah. And it was a good movie.
Yes,
right?
It was.
And that's why they want to keep him around.
Yeah.
But I also think, like I'd heard all along, that Kang Dynasty, before it changed and is now Doomsday or whatever.
Yeah.
Kang Dynasty was Shang-Chi 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Kang Dynasty basically effectively served as a sequel for Shang-Chi 2.
So it's going to be like Shang-Chi versus a Kang variant, so to speak.
Yeah, forgive me if I'm saying Shang-Chi and it's Shang-Chi. It's been a while since we had that conversation.
Sure.
Shang-Chi. I think that Simu Liu and the cast of Shang-Chi would have been prominently featured in the Kang Dynasty.
Wow. Damn. That makes me even more sad that we're not getting it. But yeah.
So that's what I think. I think it's Destin being like, listen, I want to make movies. Like I did this TV series, but like it's time for me to make my next movie. What am I doing?
Right.
I think it's a good hire.
Yeah.
Right. I think, right. He did a good job with the action scenes.
Yes.
Shang-Chi. I think this is the fourth. These are big shoes to fill. Like the last movie made like $2 billion. You are not going to make that with this.
No.
And I mean, it seems impossible that MJ is in the movie as much as she has been in the other movies. It seems like, just looking at her schedule, I don't see how she has time unless this is in first position. But I doubt that it is. I mean, it has to be Euphoria. Yeah. But it's, then there's the rumors of how real is Euphoria season 3. Right. So, I don't know what like is priority for her. But I wouldn't be surprised. I'll put it that way if it scaled back a bit.
Yeah, I mean, that seems to make sense. And I do have a source that sent me something earlier this week saying that she will be in the film, but it will be a much more reduced role, which makes sense. Because isn't that what people have been kind of clamoring for? Is they want Peter to take center stage once and for all, right? A lot of these Spider-Man fans have been like, God, you put him with Iron Man, you put him with this, you put him with that, you put him like, let him stand on his own and do a solo adventure. And I think this might be the route they're going with someone like Destin Daniel Cretton, kind of guiding them this way and pushing aside everything else and kind of focusing on Peter, especially after what happened in the last movie. Nobody knows who he is.
I think this is like the right fit. And like he has that, because I'd use this as an example with someone else I'd argued for or whatever. But like, has he experience doing stuff with young ensembles? Looking at Short Term 12, right?
Oh, right, yeah.
All these like young actors who then became stars and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, Brie Larson, has an Oscar and is in the MCU because of this guy.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me. And what more? Like, what other angle did you want to approach it from? What were some of the things that you'd asked about
the approach to the movie? Do you think? Because I mean, there was that battle that were reported a few months ago was going to be big, is what Sony wanted. Marvel wanted something a bit more ground-based. Do you think they're going to split the difference, start ground-based, and then lead him to where Secret Wars ends up on Battle World? Do you think this movie will serve that purpose? And do you think it'll lie between the two Secret Wars movies?
I don't know what you're talking about. Repeat that sentence that you just said. It was like in another language.
Here we go, Mr. Two.
Battle World? What?
Yeah, that's what Secret Wars is Battle World. It's the villains and the heroes battling on Battle World. And so that's out in space. And so are they going to lead up to Peter going to Battle World in this Spider-Man after the first Secret Wars movie? I just wonder.
You can wonder away. I have no idea what you're talking about.
All right, do you anticipate a more ground-based or a mixture of both? What do you think with the movie here?
I think that this would seem to indicate that it's going to, have some big, large-scale action sequences and not be as grounded as maybe I'd heard. And maybe, like you said, split the difference. Because I don't think you want to go overboard here, knowing that the third movie was a phenomenon. You cannot expect that gross.
Right.
There has to be a regression of some kind, and especially if Zendaya is in it less.
Yeah. Do you anticipate that this will be one of the final 3 appearances of Tom Holland as Spider-Man?
One of the final 3? Again, I have no idea. I can't even, like, right now, my brain is so mush, I can't even tell you. Like, I know he re-upped, right? He signed a new contract.
3 or 4 new movies.
Yeah, my brain is just mush. I can't even think about it.
Well, I would say, this one and then the Secret Wars, that's 3. So maybe there is one after this one where he hands off the mantle to the Miles Morales, and we may get a Miles Morales introduced in Secret Wars. I don't know.
I mean, that's what I've heard, is that they want a live action Miles Morales.
Yeah.
It would obviously not be Shamik.
No, obviously. No. All right. Well, before we go into the other stuff connected to Spider-Man, let's move on to this Lanterns casting, brother. Josh Brolin has now turned down being Hal Jordan, which for me, I'm kind of happy about. Not that I don't think Josh was a terrible choice. I thought he was a decent choice, but not my favorite choice. But apparently McConaughey has turned it down as well. So this is like, let me use draft terms. Is McGregor on the clock now? Does he have 15 minutes to say yes or no, whether he's going to be part of this? Or do you think they're going back to the drawing board about who they want as Hal Jordan now?
Listen. I broke the news about Brolin.
Yes, you did.
Or Nexus Point.
You and Nexus
beat me to it or whatever. But yes, I was on top of it. Yeah. And the same source said, hey, if Brolin doesn't take it, which he may not.
Right.
That's why I said it was an offer. I didn't say, anything more than that.
Yes.
That it would be McConaughey or McGregor. Now, I never said McConaughey was offered it.
No,
so Hollywood Reporter comes out and includes that in their story, and maybe that's just them reaching out to McConaughey's team, being like, "Hey, is this real?" And they're like, "No way." But never said he was offered it. Said he was on a list. Mm-hmm. McGregor is next on that list, and if you look, McGregor stars in Flowervale Street.
Yeah.
Right, which is a huge Warner Brothers IMAX fucking movie next summer or spring or whatever.
Yeah.
Right, with Hathaway. Josh Brolin stars in Weapons.
Yes.
Which is a big, horror movie from the guy who did Barbarian or whatever.
That Kreger film, yeah.
Right. So, Warner Brothers, and to me, this is smart. You promote the home guy.
Yeah.
Or the home girl, whoever it is. And it's if you have a movie with them, a big movie that you're counting on doing big business, why wouldn't you try to get them in a TV show too, knowing that they're going to pop?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So look at the people who are anchoring those movies. Even McConaughey, who's he's filming that fucking Greengrass movie. He probably already filmed it, right? After that, what's he doing?
Yeah.
Some people want to do. If they just made a film, they'll go do TV and vice versa.
Yeah.
But Chris Pine, and I respect Nexus Point. They broke the Brolin thing, but I don't see how after playing Steve Trevor or whatever in the Wonder Woman movies, how they would just plug him in as the Green Lantern so soon. He doesn't work. He doesn't work as a movie star, quite frankly. I'm just being honest. I've seen Chris Pine on stage. He was amazing.
Yeah. Chris
Pine has never been that good in anything because he picks bad projects or gets offered bad projects. Right. Pool Man was a terrible movie. And there's just no way. He just does not have the heat for a role like Lanterns. Doesn't have it.
Okay.
I'd bet anything that it won't be him.
I mean, Ewan was just in Birds of Prey, right? 3 years ago, playing a villain. So that doing the about face to go and be Hal Jordan. I don't know. I don't know if I see Ewan doing it.
He may not either.
Yeah.
Again, didn't say he was offered it either. That's the thing. People. And this is, let's lead into the Spider-Verse story now, right? Because this is what I'm getting at, John. Okay.
I just want to make sure we cover this. So, do you anticipate anyone else? Do you see anyone else who could possibly slide in?
There's a zillion people. Obviously, but that's the age range. Clearly, that was another thing that people didn't seem to understand. Right? It's not going to be a 40-year-old white guy. It's going to be closer to a 55-year-old white guy. Right? And I think that 30, which is the Aaron Pierre age, is on the high end of where they're looking, just to be clear. Yeah. I'm not saying that they're not open to it, but I think that they're meeting people who are a little bit younger and look a little bit fresher faced.
For the Jon Stewart role.
For the Jon Stewart role, right? I think that Oliphant is definitely a possibility.
Yes.
Timothy Oliphant.
I've heard that name as well.
There's one other. Keep going.
Is Fassbender too old? Is McAvoy too old? I mean, they're not going to come back to be part of the X-Men franchise. So doesn't that make them in play? Put them in play?
No, Fassbender's doing a show right now, right? They're just it's also about people. That's the other thing. People throw out these names. Oh, wouldn't it be cool if it was so and so? Wouldn't it be cool if it was so and so? They have no fucking conception of what the schedule is. They have no fucking conception of where they're at in the industry, what the buzz is, what their quote is, how much they cost, anything like that. None of these factors are factored into anything. Whereas when I make a list, all of it is.
Right.
And that's the difference. There's a lot of differences. Who was the person I just mentioned? Oliphant? Hold on.
Yeah. Timothy Oliphant.
I got to search them.
Yeah. I mean, because that's I had a source reach out to me and say that Oliphant met with DC for a role, but didn't specifically state what role it was. So, but who knows if that's true, right? I mean, you go with it. I still wish Armie Hammer hadn't, kind of indulged his madness, because Armie Hammer could be somebody you could consider as a Hal Jordan, for God's
I don't fucking know. I can't fucking find it.
What are you trying to find? Timothy Oliphant's age?
No, someone else had was mentioned alongside
Oh.
of Timothy, and I can't like remember. But
Okay,
it's not important.
okay. All right. Well, where's Jake Gyllenhaal? I mean, people mention Jake, but Jake's 43, so way too young. So you're looking for actors in their 50s, is what you're looking for. And I don't know if there are that many that can play Hal Jordan. Right? That's the thing that you look at is like, who's really going to slide in
I
there?
have the list. I have a list for Jon Stewart that I spent a while doing. And
you want to talk about that list? Okay, ahead.
No, I don't really want to talk about it.
Okay.
I want to put it in the newsletter at some point. It's not like a real list. It's just my list. But looking at it's tricky because there aren't a lot of young black actors who look the part.
What a surprise. What a surprise. There are not a lot of young black actor role parts.
That's not necessarily true. I'm just like for the guys in their 20s, there aren't a lot that come to mind. There are fewer than you think.
Yeah. I think there's just as few of people in their 50s.
Like so like a guy like David Johnson, like Joseph Raziano, like he just doesn't to me look like a Jon Stewart. Like a lot of them, like they're almost like too skinny. Like you need a guy who is young but filled out, which is hard to find.
Right. What about Daniel Craig as Hal Jordan? Is that crazy? Is that too crazy?
No, I don't think so. I think all that shit's in play.
I think he could be great. If you could get him to do a good American accent, I think he'd be an interesting choice.
Right. The other one Jamie had put forth was John Hamm.
No.
Why?
No, because he's nothing on screen.
Nothing on screen? What do you mean?
Theatrically, he doesn't do dick. You know
about lanterns. What are you talking about? I'm talking about.
Yeah, but it still has to. It's still going to have that theatrical approach to it, theatrical feature approach to it. It's going to be on TV, but it's going to have that theatrical feature approach to it. And Hamm doesn't really shine with those things. Hamm shines in.
I look at John Hamm and listen. I wasn't even a Mad Men guy.
AMC, he's great in that show.
AMC,
yeah.
Fargo, FX. Next logical building, the next logical step for his career is HBO.
Okay. Maybe you're right. I think comedy-wise, he's a killer. He's great on his comedy. But I haven't seen. But then I haven't.
Did you watch Fargo? Let me ask you. Did you watch Fargo?
I did not.
There
so I've got to watch it.
There you go.
But I've watched a lot of his other stuff outside of Mad Men, and I loved him on Mad Men.
It doesn't. No, listen. I agree with you.
Yeah. Okay.
It doesn't work.
Right.
He's not great. But in Fargo, he was, and he showed a different side of himself, and that's why he's up for an Emmy. And people are even talking about him possibly winning it. I don't know that that'll be the case, but he was terrific in Fargo. And if someone in the fucking chat would back me up, oh my God, Mr. Fix-It didn't enjoy him. It's a boring season. I completely disagree.
Okay.
I saw someone mention it. I was like, no.
Watch it end up being Wahlberg. It's going to be Wahlberg as Hal Jordan. All right. Anyway. Hey, John, how's your mother? Use your ring. Anyway, let's move on to your drama. So let's talk about it. Beyond the Spider-Verse. Let's get into it. Let me lay it out a little bit, and then you can feel free to rant or not rant because you don't want to send another apology. But you posted in your newsletter on Monday that Beyond the Spider-Verse trilogy, that there were creative differences causing some scenes to be scrapped, and that it would be unlikely to debut before 2027. And you said, while the Beyond the Spider-Verse team was taken aback by the change in direction, I'm told they're relieved to have more time to work on the sequel, as it's important to all involved that they stick the landing on this Oscar-winning franchise. Christopher Miller, of course, of Lord and Miller fame, was quick to chime in, as he's a producer on the film there, and said, nothing has been scrapped. The reels are coming along nicely. And that followed what Daniel Pemberton, the composer on the film, had said when he tweeted out, don't really ever want to weigh on this sort of stuff, but would you ever believe there could sometimes be stuff on the internet that might not always be particularly accurate? And this caused you to have a bit of a meltdown on Twitter, send emails, which, brother, if you're getting 25 million people reading your newsletter, you need to be paid.
Obviously, there's not 25 million. I almost put 25 billion. People clearly didn't even get that.
I know. I thought it was funny when you put that in there, but this became a situation. But then, to your credit, you did apologize. You put a big tweet apologizing and tagged them both. And so respect you for doing that. But this was a heck of a controversy. What are your thoughts on it all? What are your feelings on all of this? And
let me tell you my feelings on it, okay? Because it's completely ridiculous.
Wait, you can't apologize and say it's completely ridiculous. What
do you mean? Of course I can. It can be completely ridiculous while I can apologize for my part in it at the same time. But I'm not apologizing for the reporting one iota.
Yeah, right. You said you stand by your
I can say that I could have said it more clearly.
Yes.
But it's not my fault that people are bad reading comprehension and leap to conclusions. So here's the thing. I spent all day going over this stuff, reading what comes in, putting down what comes out in my own words, right?
Yeah.
Spent all day refining it to using the perfect nuance of language that allows me to hide behind whatever. And the internet, what happens is that the internet gets it. They read it in 2 minutes, if they read it at all. Right. Let me ask you this question. Let me just, this is going to be like the trial. Okay. John Rocha, do you think that Chris Miller or Daniel Pemberton read my newsletter? Do you think that they subscribed to my newsletter? Yes or no?
I don't think they subscribe to your newsletter.
Do you think that they read my newsletter?
No, because they don't subscribe to your newsletter. But
so, do you so what they were reacting to was something that they read somewhere else.
Right. It was like somebody, Variety or wherever, THR, read your newsletter or read your report.
I don't even think it was Variety or THR because I don't think Variety weighed in on it until after the denials. Okay? So it was basically aggregated by the internet, as these things are wont to do. Yes. But what happens is they read what I took hours to write. They read it in 2 minutes and they spit it back out in 5 to 10 minutes. Right. Do they not? Is that true? Yes or no?
What do you mean spit it back out?
Do they publish a story as fast as they can to get it on the internet first because they just read it in my newsletter? Is that true? Yes or no?
Yes. They hire people to comb the internet to find these articles, write them real quick to keep people clicking on their site. Yes.
Okay. So now we have circumstances in which a reporter has spent all day writing something with a certain language. Right. It has now been read in 2 minutes and filtered back out to the internet within 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. Okay. To the point where even a guy like Jordan Rumi, who I love, and I read World of Real almost every morning.
Yes.
Okay. That's how I like to almost start my day. His headline, if you looked at the headline, it said Sony scraps Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Right. It was very much an eye-catching clickbait.
As if the movie has been scrapped. Now imagine seeing that, or various, who knows who read it on that site because they don't get my newsletter and they fucking put it out on their site. I mean, it's a huge fucking game of telephone and it's not my problem at all. Okay? That is the beast that you have created and that we all live in and operate in. It's called the internet and it is a fucking cesspool. Mm-hmm. And I shouldn't be held responsible for the idiocy of most of the people on it. Okay, if you want to know what I'm saying in my newsletter, pay your fucking money like everybody else and read it, and it'll come right to your newsletter, and you can see the very fucking language that I have used. Okay? Did I say that fully finished animation had been thrown out? At no point did I say that. Like, yes or no? I'll ask you.
No, you didn't. You said some scenes had been scrapped.
I said no. I said chunks of it had been thrown out. Now, when I say chunks of it, am I talking about production, fully finished animation? Could I have been talking about development of it, the ideas behind it? Because that's what I was maybe referring to, and that wasn't clear, and that's on me. And when I say that I heard it over Labor Day weekend, right? That means I heard it over Labor Day weekend, not that it happened over Labor Day weekend. This wasn't a new thing. It had happened a while ago. Mm-hmm. Okay? Why did it happen? Because in my follow-up report, right, you'd like to think that Chris Miller, if you've got something to say, or some of these people have something to say, my email's open. My DMs are open. My number's very easy to find on the internet. You can reach out and call me, and we can have a conversation. So, it's I don't feel welcome by Sony Pictures because the last time that we spoke, things just wind up on deadline. And so it's like Hollywood, has created an industry of paranoia. Okay? Whereas if you're not an insider and part of the trades and under our thumb or under our wing or whatever, and we can't call your boss to have you fired if we don't like what you write, then we're not going to treat you fairly.
Yeah.
So that's not everybody. That's just at this studio. I've been asking the head of comms for a lunch since, for the last year.
Yeah.
Haven't been able to get that lunch. So it's like, if you're not going to treat me with the respect that I deserve, I'm not sure I can treat you with the respect you deserve. And look at what has happened. Right. All because of some silly casting from I Know What You Did Last Summer, right?
Right.
And it's not that I published in any retaliatory way. I'd heard this Spider-Man stuff for a while. And the point of it all is, right? Yes. Let's get to the gist of it. Let's get to my headline.
Okay.
Right? Which is Spider-Man 4 gets a director. And as a result, okay, of Spider-Man 4 now being ready to go before cameras early next year.
Yeah.
What's going to happen with Spider-Verse? When are we going to see it? That's the only thing that fucking matters. They can throw the whole thing out. Who gives a shit? That's called the creative process. Throw it all out. I don't care. As a reporter, you will never, ever hear me give you shit for that. And I wasn't giving them shit for this. I wasn't talking about how it was going to cost Sony more money or the budget was going to sky. It wasn't any. Take as much fucking time as you need. Do it a million times for all I care. I defended Lord and Miller, in fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't I? With the original scandal that they found themselves in, because I said, I don't fucking care how many times these fucking animators have to do it, or how fucking late they have to stay, or how many fucking holidays they have to skip. That's the business they signed up for.
Yeah.
That is what I said. So it goes both fucking ways, okay? This movie was supposed to come out in March 2024.
Yeah.
Where is it? Right. Don't tell me that everything's going smooth, okay? When the movie has missed its date, has no date, and probably won't have a date for 2 to 3 years. Don't tell me everything's going smooth. Like, actions speak louder than words, my friend. And the action was, we didn't scrap anything, blah, 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 blah. The date was not addressed. Now, is it possible that that it could be 2026? It's possible.
Mm-hmm.
You can release one, Spider-Man, Spider-Verse in the summer, and then live action Spider-Man in the winter. Yeah. All I'd heard that this was the big sin. Nail me to the cross. Jeff Sneider hears that there won't be 2 Spider-Man movies in the same calendar year. Mm-hmm. One of them's going to have to move. And if you're Sony Pictures, which movie, John, do you prioritize?
The live action Sony.
The live action movie, which is more likely to gross $1 billion than your animated third movie. Okay? So that is the movie that you want to have in theaters first. That is the priority.
Okay.
Pin Jeff Sneider to the fucking cross. Like, there's no question. And I apologize to Chris Miller. I'll do it again on the show. I'm going to do it in the newsletter tonight. I already wrote it. I have to change a word of it. I apologize to both these guys because I crossed the line. I made it personal where they didn't. Okay?
Right.
And I, listen, you have to think. I'm a journalist, but I'm also an entertainment journalist. I don't write about fucking politics. I don't cover cancer. Okay? Mm-hmm. I fucking write about entertainment journalism, and I make it fucking entertaining. Mm-hmm. All right. And I also went to fucking NYU's Tisch School of the Arts, the best goddamn school for screenwriting in the fucking world. And at heart, I'm a screenwriter. So a line like shut the fuck up and go play your fucking harpsichord. That's a great fucking line. All due respect to myself, but I crossed the line. I never should have said something like that to Daniel Pemberton because him and Chris Miller had every right to defend themselves, just as I have every right to defend myself from the thousands of people who they unleashed, and not, unknowingly, unwittingly, whatever, but the thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people they unleashed upon me that hurled anti-Semitic things, homophobic things,
sure,
death threats, the worst kind of shit in a way that I don't see Fleming, Justin, Boris, Umberto get. And maybe it's in my own imagination, but none of those 4 gentlemen are Jewish. Okay? I'll play the fucking card.
Umberto's Latino, man. Don't even.
I'm sure you hear all kinds of shit yourself.
Yes.
The shit that I heard for this, and it's like Chris Miller and Daniel Pemberton, I hope that you guys, as much, as bad as I feel for my own part of it, and I'm not talking about necessarily the reports that you were responding to, because I'm not responsible for them, even though I was held responsible and called a liar and a thief and a fraud and a hack and all kinds of horrible shit, right? You have to think about that these days. And what's going to come at a reporter, because like you guys went back and you slept in your fucking $1 million mansions, whereas like, you know, I've got to deal with fucking death threats over a fucking Spider-Verse story. And that's part of the terror. Like, I've been dealing with that since my Ain't It Cool News days when I was 19 years old. That's part of the fucking job, right? I'm sure you've gotten your share of that stuff too, Johnny.
Oh, right. Yeah, but nowhere near that. No one's ever sent me a death threat because.
But yeah,
actually, no, I'd probably do it to them. So
it's just all kinds of fucking wildness. So, yeah, you guys can, like, the producer's whole, like, when I saw that tweet from Chris Miller, again, I apologized to him for crossing the line. With all due respect, was that tweet for me? Was that tweet for fans? Or was that tweet for Sony Pictures? To assure them, hey, guys, nothing to see here. Everything's going smoothly. Like, that's the producer's job, is to assure the studio everything's going fine. Where is the movie been dated for next year? Like, if it's going to come out next summer, like these movies have typically come out in the summer, it would have been dated by now. Next summer's way too crowded. Could be ready for 2026. But again, that's other Spider-Man movies coming in 2026. Wait for the animated one to come in 2027.
Yeah. Okay. So that was a lot. So take a break. But I do think, and I'm saying this as your co-host and your friend, you got to stop taking this shit personally. You really do. Because this happens to you. You tweet something out. Look, don't be stupid. You're smart. You want to brag about your knowledge and where you went to school and all that, which I totally think is great. And I respect that. And I do think you're a smart person. But you fucking knew you were poking the bear with this story. And you knew it was going to get attention. You knew it could cause a negative thing. And like you said, Chris Miller and Pemberton both have a right to come back at this story with their own comments. You could have left it at that.
I should have left it at that.
That's what I'm getting to, is that I think you have to understand, you're at this, you tell me all the time, like, people are watching you, John. I actually don't care, right? But you do. I don't. And I think that's why I go off about politics, because that's what I care about. That matters more. Fictitious characters and fictitious movies, they don't matter to me. Politics matters. That's what I go off on. That's the difference between, and I'm saying, I see.
To me, there's no point in going off on politics.
I think there is, and there's a difference between us, right? That's fair. But like I'm saying to you, like, if you take this thing, and this is where you go off, and the thing is, you always lose in the situation because of how you go off. And it gives people more ammunition to come after you.
100%. And it's like a self-sabotage thing almost, right?
Yeah, let me finish. I know you're a good person. I know you're smart. I know that you vet these sources, and people question your credentials who have like 10 followers and are nobodies. Like they're just armchair quarterbacking from whatever sad chair they're living in. And I get that. But when professionals come after you, then this is a separate conversation, right? And Chris didn't even come after you. He just said, nothing, the scenes aren't scrapped. The scenes aren't scrapped. Daniel took some shots with the and all of that. That's all done, yes, to placate their base. But I think you're 100% right that the film itself clearly has some issues. The Vulture story exposed all that stuff. I was on the other side of it. I'm you're with Amy Pascal. I am not. And so so there's a lot going on behind the scenes. So to me, I would say this: don't tweet this stuff, Jeff, if you can't handle people coming at you.
Of course, and there's no question that I overreacted the other day and embarrassed, right? And that's always been my weakness, right? Like I don't know. Back me into a corner, I will come out swinging, and I definitely felt backed into a corner by the response. Yeah. But like that's my own shit in a way, right?
What do we got to do to have you go through the thought process of don't take it personal, don't take it, and listen, you can't default to that Jewish thing because you don't give that grace to other people when they default to their race or their sex or their LGBTQ plus.
And that's fair.
That in the past, and so I'm saying to you, you can't default to that when it's convenient and not default to it all the time with other people. That's not fair.
I just like, people have even said to me like, dude, I thought like the internet hated me or hated so-and-so. And then it's like, I go online. It's like, it's completely disproportional. Right.
Right.
On the same day that like how, and granted, maybe this isn't like a W for me, but Hollywood Reporter, says Josh Brolin's turned down fucking Green Lantern.
Right. Like
thereby validating my whole report. Like,
yeah, you
guys, like, what incentive do I have to make this shit up? I mean, like, and again, did the trades were so quick to jump, right? Variety jumped on that fucking story, right?
Of course, to get clicks for them. Yeah.
Right. Chris Miller denies it. Well, you never ran a story about it. So it's like, like your audience denies what?
Right. They won't validate you initially. They'll validate you through the back door.
Right. They'll love to kick me while I'm down. Right. And that is like so fucking intentional from Variety's side. And like, again, you guys just none of these other reporters, again, other than Justin and Boris and Umberto, people who like lose things, okay, on a regular basis. You have no idea what it's like to be in the trenches on the front lines of this industry, dealing with the power brokers of this town and telling them things that they don't want to fucking hear and saying and doing things that they don't want the public to fucking know.
Right, exactly. Okay? But that's the thing. If you are there, then you've got to take that responsibility of not to. You can't play it both ways. You can't look to poke the bear and then get sensitive when you get smacked back by the bear. That's not how it works. You've got to be able to take.
And there's no question that I regret certain tweets. And I deleted a few. And I owe that publicist an apology. I've apologized to Daniel.
You set everything on fire, and the thing is, you lose. And I'm trying to camera it home here. Stop doing
There's no question. And it's just like I'm so fucking paranoid that like I can't trust people in this town. I have like severe trust issues because these people are lying, backstabbing, vulture vipers, like for the most part. There are good ones, and some of them are my closest friends, but for the most part, it is crazy out there. And people just have no idea.
Well, and it's true. And that's something I discovered being in the business there, living in LA. Everyone is trying to fuck you over, and most people are trying to fuck you over. And if you get to a certain spot, everybody wants that spot, and they're trying to undercut you all the time to get that spot. And then people behind them are coming to undercut them all the time. This is the game, guys. There's no kumbaya in this business. And even now, Jeff, I think you have to factor this in, and everybody who's listening or watching needs to factor this in. The reports coming out recently about how much less work there is in Hollywood, how much less there is to talk about, less there is to cover, there is less and less of this stuff. So the fact that people's livelihoods are being taken away from their food's being taken off their plate, their dreams are being killed, it makes people even more sensitive to defend themselves,
of course.
Go crazy, be cutthroat, backstab, because...
And I'm fighting for my life here, right?
I know. Everyone thinks Hollywood is liberal. They're not as liberal as you think they are. They're liberal with their mouth. They're not liberal with their actions. And I think that's what people don't seem to understand about Hollywood. It is much more cutthroat, and they break principles and morals and ethics all the fucking time in order to achieve what they achieve, and they lie to themselves about it. So, yeah. What do you got? Are you okay?
I'm changing sunglasses.
Okay. So I think
listen, it was a fucking egotistical, right? It was just like this fucking ego bomb that went off, right? And it's from being terminally online, right? And just seeing everything that's coming in about you. I didn't have any movies that day to like break it up, to be like, I got to go into a movie and turn my phone off. I was just fucking online the whole afternoon. I had barely slept in days, right? Like I was fucking cracked out. I was fucking cracked out.
I hear you.
Not actually cracked out. I never smoked crack, but like that sounds fun.
We do not advocate the smoking of crack.
No, I never smoked Toronto crack, Canadian crack. That's
Canadian crack. It's gotta be chill crack.
Like, I was going to like midnight movies, especially early on in the festival, and then or like parties, and then waking up for like the 8 or 9 a.m. movie.
Yeah.
I was getting like 3 or 4 hours of sleep plus writing. I mean, so certainly not my finest hour on social media. And like I said, I apologize to my followers, my readers of the newsletter, and to Daniel and to Chris. I owe that publicist an apology. I'm going to send him an apology before this weekend. But yeah, I have felt embarrassed lately by certain studios.
Oh, okay.
And it's like, if you're not gonna fucking play ball, like, what do you? They expect me to just roll over and lie down for the trades, and I'm sick of it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're not gonna play ball and you're gonna do your own thing, you can't give a fuck what they think or what they put out. Like
You're right. And they're entitled to their response. And that's the thing. They are entitled to their response.
Because they're protecting their territory and they're going to respond that way. But you know the truth, right?
I've always been good to Lord and Miller, though. Like, I've taken their sides in certain disputes. People. And so I was just taken aback. And I'm sure that they're like, Sony, why the fuck aren't you on top of this? Why aren't you dealing with this fucking guy? And they're like, he can't be fucking dealt with. Not this week.
Right. Exactly. Sphinx says, smoke weed, Jeff. He smokes it all the time, bro. So, you know, do you know how many fucking lush drunks there are in this goddamn town? What do you want from me? Don't start. What did we just say?
Really? God damn, this whole fucking town. Jesus Christ.
I like this. This is funny. Dalton
in Hollywood, California, my friends.
LOL, Rocha, no one is scared of you. Sure, Dalton. Well, anytime you want to come find me, baby. I'm in San Diego. We'll see what's up.
John, they have to be afraid of you. They won't respect you unless they're afraid of you. That's the only thing I've learned. That's what I was taught. Maybe I had a bad mentor out here.
No, you have to. Yeah, you have to. Exactly. You have to make them afraid.
I will cause headaches. All you have to do, I'm not even asking for much. Give me a fucking scoop. Who's giving me not even a make good, not an I owe you one, just like a here's a scoop.
Right.
One streamer gave me a scoop.
Oh.
And one streamer bought an ad. And I've been in business almost a year.
Wow.
And I break more news than the other newsletters. I'm cheaper than the other newsletters. I publish more than the other newsletters. And I pay more attention. It's just like they write about the 1%. I write about everybody else. Nobody seems interested. Yeah. It's like all anybody wants to read about is what fucking Brian Lord had for lunch at CAA.
Yeah. I know. I hear you. All right. All right. Anyway,
we can move on. What time is it? What day is it? I don't even know where I am. Am I home?
Mom, meatloaf. All right, let's take a break real quick, and on the other side, we'll talk more stuff. And people look, Jeff just gave you 20 minutes, and we went back and forth on this.
Internet gold.
Send the Streamlabs super chat. Send the love. For God's sakes, Chris has got 90 people sending him stuff today on his show with him and Winston, and we can't even break 10 right now. That's not.
This isn't the most interesting fucking show about entertainment on the internet. Please show me what is.
Yeah.
Show me the fucking show.
Show me the money. Exactly. All right, let's take a quick break. On the other side, we'll talk some more stuff going on in the world of entertainment, including Jeff's TIFF recap here right after this.
Holy fuck. Sorry.
All right, we're back. Let's jump topics here. Let's move to something else. You commented on this, Jeff. I know we didn't put it in the rundown, but I was going through your Twitter, and I saw you comment on this Daniel RPK report that Wolverine, according to him, Wolverine will not be in the new X-Men movie. And you said this is a mistake. Can you explain why you think it's a mistake not to have Wolverine in the X-Men movie at this point?
John, who gives a fuck about the X-Men without Wolverine?
I don't know, because X-Men 97 did really, really well pushing Wolverine to the back of the storylines, animated wise, but maybe live action is a whole nother ball game. And are you going to go with, is it going to be Hugh Jackman? Is it going to be Hugh Jackman, or is it going to be someone else? Because if it's you've got to make him essentially like the mentor to all these young X-Men, right?
It's been 25 fucking years already. Can we move on from fucking Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, please?
You're saying recast. You're saying
yeah. For the love of fucking God, yes.
Okay, all right. I think I'd be curious to see a film without Wolverine. But Wolverine, you've got Cyclops. You've got if you cast well, this film could kind of bring a rebirth of appreciation for these characters on the X-Men side of things. We've had a good Jean Grey, an okay Jean Grey, and Sophie Turner. We've had one Wolverine though, so there's room to recast. Or if you don't want to use them, we'll see how that goes on. But yeah, I think the recast it's time. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. All right. There's other news. Jared Leto is in talks to play Skeletor. The main.
No, he's not.
in Travis Knight's He-Man live action film. Are you saying he isn't? The report came out a couple days ago. You're saying he isn't. What do you
said? He was offered.
Oh yeah, offered. Sorry, he was offered. All right, fine. That's not being in talks. If you're offered, you're still talking it over if you're offered something. So go ahead. Yes.
Just saying.
Do you think he's going to take it?
Just saying. If he was in talks, don't you think my headline would have said Jared Leto in talks to be Skeletor?
Fair.
This is what I'm talking about, John. This is what I'm talking about.
But you use a large chunks and you want to make that nebulous. In talks can be nebulous as well. It can imply offer or not. It depends. So do you think he'll
Here we go. Okay.
Right, break it down.
First of all, here's a Jeff Sneider rule. Like, it's sign up for my class coming soon.
There you go. Okay. I
only report on things that I think actors will take.
Oh. So if you say someone's been,
I don't think someone's going to take an offer. Why report it? If I'm going to get egg on my face, why do I want that?
Wow.
I don't.
Okay.
Jared Leto recently played 2 characters.
Yes. Morbius
and
Joker.
The Hatbox Ghost.
Oh yeah. Right. Oh, Jesus. Haunted Mansion. Okay.
Morbius and the Hatbox Ghost. You tell me if Skeletor is cooler than Morbius and the Hatbox Ghost. You tell me. Sure.
It is. Yes. 100%.
I think Jared Leto takes this role.
You do? Wow. Okay.
Why not?
Because you can clearly tell that Travis Knight is going in a much more campier direction.
Good director. Good director, right?
I like him. He's a very good director.
Streaming money?
Yes, sure.
Biggest star on the set?
Yeah. But can he do camp? I don't know if he can do camp.
Can Jared Leto do camp? I think he can.
His Joker wasn't well received. His Morbius wasn't well. Matt Smith outacted him in Morbius. So my concern is, can he be the right person to play Skeletor? And people call him a franchise killer, Jeff. The films he's been in have not done well in the franchise section. So
here's the thing. What does Jared Leto have coming out next summer, John?
I don't know. Tell me.
Tron Ares.
He does have Tron Ares coming out.
The title role in Tron Ares, right? Depending on your thoughts on how that movie's going to perform, not a bad idea to maybe get into the Jared Leto business right now if you think it's going to be a winner.
Do you think Travis Knight requested to see some dailies to see how Jared Leto was in the film, or do you think he just kind of, because if he comes out in that film and it's a goose egg, it's nothing, then you're stuck with him as Skeletor in your film.
I have no idea how that works. If Jared Leto's like an offer only kind of guy, Jared Leto's an Oscar-winning actor.
He is.
People forget that. Oh, Jared Leto, Morbius, fucking Joker, that guy. Yeah, the guy with the fucking Oscar. Yes, that guy.
Dallas Buyers Club. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, the guy who gained possibly the most weight ever, maybe second most for Chapter 27, the Mark David Chapman movie.
Right.
This is an actor who's very, very committed to his craft.
Yeah.
Very, very committed. Underrated actor, has certainly made some bad decisions, taken some paycheck roles. Don't see why this would be different. I think he has the face for Skeletor. And I just don't know, John, if you're right. Did they do some sort of makeup test or something to make sure he was the right guy before they offered it to him? Or, they just run some fucking 3D schematic or some shit on his face. They're going to be like, yeah, he'd be perfect.
Some AI thing. Yeah. All right. So we'll see. I'm not sold on it, but then again, I do like Travis Knight. I think he's a fantastic director, and I love Alison Brie. So having her come in to play Evil Lynn is cool. But this is a hell of a boulder to push up a hill, a live action He-Man, and get it right.
100%.
I hope they get it right. Yeah.
Again, I was gonna write this before I got a hold of the Jared Leto thing. I'm sure I tweeted it already, but if Amazon literally said on Friday night at 7:00 Pacific, we will be streaming, Jeff Bezos is going to light $100 million on fire. Who doesn't turn into that? Okay, right. He could have called it Masters of the Universe. True. Jeff Bezos is going to there's just going to be a bonfire of $100 million. More people would watch that than are going to watch this movie. I don't understand this investment from Amazon. Yeah. I don't think this is a good bet. This is not going to be a good movie. But Travis Knight does give me a glimmer of hope.
A glimmer of hope. That's fair. All right, let's get into this Francis Ford Coppola situation, brother. There is a lawsuit that Francis Ford Coppola has put into motion here. This is just 2 weeks before Megalopolis is about to come out. He has sued Variety, yes, Variety, for libel over a July 26th article that called his behavior on the set of the sci-fi film Megalopolis, quote, unprofessional, alleging that Francis Ford Coppola hugged and kissed female background extras, plural, participating in a party scene. He is seeking Coppola is $15 million from Variety and further for punitive and exemplary damages from the defendants there. He's named Variety Media LLC and journalists Brett Lang and Tatiana Siegel. Oh, Tatiana Siegel. My God, I'm sure she didn't expect that. And it came 2 days, this lawsuit did, after Megalopolis extra Lauren Pagone, who was quoted in the August 2nd article following up Variety's article about Coppola's actions. She sued Francis Ford Coppola and others in Georgia for civil battery, civil assault, and negligent failure to prevent harassment. One of the female actresses did come out and say that she felt he didn't do any of that while she was on set. But of course, just because it didn't happen while you were on set doesn't mean it didn't happen another day on set when you weren't on set. So what are your thoughts on this? Is this Coppola trying to recoup his money ahead of time before he has to pay out Pagone? What are your thoughts on this?
What a fucking mess.
I mean, dude, this movie's coming out in 2 weeks. It was already like a miracle that it would even make any profit. Now it's like, it's just sank. It looks like it's going to sink like a stone.
Yeah, it's definitely not going to do very well. That's for sure. Yeah, crazy situation. I mean,
yeah.
Like, is it, if someone goes on the record with an accusation, like, is Variety responsible for that accusation? Like, aren't they just like, sort of just, that's what reporters do. But yeah, it also did seem like Variety or the trades have had, other than Deadline at least, have had something against Coppola or this movie. Yeah. It seems like they've had like their knives out for it. And that's where I think that this lawsuit comes from, is like the actual malice part of it, right? That's what you kind of, and I don't know what the deal is there. Naming those two journalists by name is really something. I'm sure that they don't really have to worry, and that like Penske is going to take care of them and have their backs no matter what. But like, they both probably made over $1 million at the trades too, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
I wouldn't be surprised if Brent and Tatiana, have banked $1 million working at the trades. So, it is more movie promotion. It's more ink for the movie. It may be Coppola's like a scare tactic towards the trades, or like a way of, getting money out of Penske, some sort of settlement. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd be scared if I was a journalist. I never got Variety sued. I've been fired by Variety twice. Never got the trade sued. Look at me, Jay. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd call it karma, because I just think the Variety in general has gotten super sloppy, and it's just not the place that I left. It's like totally different these days.
Yeah, it's almost like they're running a I don't know how you can say this, because I mean they're the ones who are revealing big plot points from movies and cameos and Easter eggs that were popping up before the movies came out. They were getting, I remember at the Eternal screening, those two Variety writers wrote the reveal, I think, of Harry Styles or somebody being revealed there in that movie, and a lot of people were upset about it. So yeah, it's a weird. I think they've turned Variety into this clickbaity type of place, and that's what they're trying to do there. But they do still write some fantastic articles as well. So, but the defendants, here's a quote from the lawsuit here. Defendants knew that all cast and crew members on Megalopolis signed an NDA in which they promised to keep confidential any information about Megalopolis and its production, among other things. They agreed to hold all such information in the strictest confidence and assure that the confidential information not be published. So defendants knew, therefore, that their sources were unreliable and did not tell the truth when they signed the NDA. Nonetheless, defendants relied on these supposed sources, and by doing so, acted with reckless disregard for whether the sources this time were telling the truth or not. So this seems like an interesting lawsuit. Like, you're going to be mad at the writers and you're accusing them of not doing due diligence on this situation. But I can't imagine that they didn't, as you said, because all this stuff goes through legal. All these, especially accusations like this, they all go through their lawyers, don't these articles?
The whole thing, I mean, it's a bizarre lawsuit in the sense that it's like Variety knew that these people broke their NDAs and thus they were untrustworthy. Like, that's not really how it works, Francis. Like, someone's automatically lying because they broke an NDA and that proves that they're lying. Like, what?
Are you going to believe this drug addict who's telling you that I was killing 7 people? That's a drug addict. It's
yeah, I don't know if I subscribe to that, but listen, we'll see how it plays out because I'm sure, Penske's probably looking to sue me at this point. Who knows?
Oh my God, please don't sue me. I did nothing. Do your thing. All right. Well, we'll see what happens with that. I just think
for what?
I think it's Coppola trying to put money back in his pocket that he's about to pay out. And I think he knows this film is going to flop. And he spent a lot of his own money for this film. So I think he's trying to recoup whatever he can here in this lawsuit. And Variety essentially possibly handed them that ability. And they'll probably settle out of court. Don't you think, Jeff? They'll settle out of court somewhere quietly for a certain few million and be done with it. Don't you think? That's kind of part of the insurance of a place like this.
Yeah, I don't know what'll happen. We'll see. I mean, I think that article definitely did damage. I think that's like easy to prove. Yeah,
100% agree with you on that. All right, let's look at something here. Let's look at TIFF, brother. Talk to us about your TIFF. Let's spend a few minutes on this. You were at TIFF. You went and saw a bunch of movies. I know you're going to write about it later in the newsletter, but like, what can you tell us here about your experiences at TIFF? What can you say about what you saw? What some of your favorite films or performances? Let her rip, Jeffy.
Best movie was the Trump movie. Sorry.
The Apprentice.
I thought it was great.
Okay.
My buddy got me into some invite-only screening.
Wow.
I had to pee so badly. I really wish I had stuck around for the Q&A after because the director, Ali Abbasi, was like, I want to have like a Q&A, but like a reverse Q&A where I find out like what you guys were thinking. I just thought Sebastian Stan and Jeremy Strong were both like terrific.
Oh, I can't wait. And they moved that one up because of the positive reviews. I think it's coming out September 27th.
But I do think it's more dangerous than people think and not in the way that they think. Like, this is a movie that humanizes Trump, especially in at least in its first half. By the second half, he's the Trump we all know and despise. But the first half, he's just like any other kind of rich kid who hasn't lived up to his father's expectations. Like it's kind of an interesting take.
Okay.
Honora, I saw 24 movies. Like Honora was great.
Okay.
I just don't know if it's going to be an awards player like everybody thinks it will be because it's kind of like this year's Uncut Gems.
Okay.
It has that raw, wild. Are you a Sean Baker fan?
Yeah, I like Sean Baker. Yeah.
The Brutalist was pretty special.
Everyone's saying the Brutalist is gonna like be the talk of the town.
I wouldn't be shocked if that won Best Director. If Brady won Best Director, like it really is an achievement. It's 3.5 hours. It is too long. It did have an intermission, but like and Adrian Brody is fantastic as well. Felicity Jones. We Live in Time, I thought was excellent. I mean, that was just had me weeping like a baby.
The Andrew Garfield one, is that one?
Yeah,
with
exactly.
Florence Pugh.
Florence Pugh was great in it. Nicole Kidman was terrific in Baby Girl. I thought that was a huge leap forward for the director Helena Rain.
Okay,
who did Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. The Order with Jude Law, where he like takes on like a bunch of white supremacists, led by Nick Holt. That was a really good one. You like that? If you like, like Popeye Doyle kind of stuff. Yeah.
Now I'm on board with this. Okay.
I liked Saturday Night. Perry did not like it. Perry ripped it to shreds, which is very rare for Perry. But I enjoyed it and thought it was like laugh out loud funny. I was like laughing at shit that like the audience hadn't even picked up on. I was just on my wavelength. I don't think it's like a great movie. Like there's no like real dramatic, what's going to happen, right? Like, they're going to get on the air and everything, but it was very good, fun movie. Relay, I really liked.
Okay.
Thriller with Riz Ahmed. And it's like, do you know what IP Relay is, John?
No, I don't. What is that?
It's like a messaging service for the deaf.
Oh.
So like you would call a number and then, say something and then they would repeat to the, and then it like comes through like a thing that the deaf people have.
Right. So did
anyways,
what's the premise? Someone messes with something and then
I always thought that it was like would make such a great hook for a movie if you could figure out what it was. And like this guy figured it out. And it's like a corporate espionage, like Michael Clayton movie.
Oh, nice.
With Riz Ahmed that I thought was great. I really like Soderbergh's new movie, Presence. That was a really nifty ghost story. I liked a a bunch of sports movies, John. Great festival for sports movies. I didn't see The Fire Inside, which is that Ryan Destiny movie. Like
the boxing movie. Yeah.
I saw Resball. Did
Okay.
you watch that yet?
No, I haven't. I don't think it's out yet. So
I think it is.
Is it? Okay.
Highly recommended on Netflix. Highly recommended. I also watched The Deliverance on the plane last night, and I really liked The Deliverance. Did you watch that?
Which one's that one? Oh, the one with Glenn, the one with Glenn Close.
The nappy pussy one.
Oh, yes.
Like, what a fucking crazy moment.
I showed that to Lindley last night, the trailer, and she's like, I don't want to see it, and I do want to see it at the same time.
I actually like The Deliverance. Okay. Anyways, that wasn't a TIFF movie. Resball was good. Unstoppable was good. With the one-legged wrestler. Jarrell Jerome is a one-legged wrestler. Cool. Jennifer Lopez as his mom. Bobby Cannavale as his abusive father.
Apparently, that got like 15-minute standing ovation, and I bet J-Lo was so appreciative considering all the shit she's been going through lately, man. I heard she's good in that. Is she good in that?
She was excellent. I thought. Conclave was good, but I understood the reviews that now call it a little silly.
Oh, okay. All right. By the way, MK Somber says Resball is September 27th on Netflix.
Well, forgive me, everybody. Forgive me. Okay, wait. We've got a few more. Bird with Barry Keoghan.
Okay. Did you see Queer? Someone wants to know if you saw
I did not see Queer. I skipped Queer to see Megalopolis, which, is exactly what you've heard. Like, it's kind of like a epic mess. Like, I don't really know what the hell I just watched, but like, I did think it was impressive. I respected the effort and what he was trying to say, and like, I mean, it's fucking bad shit. It's bad shit. But okay, so that was Megalopolis. Bird from Andrea Arnold, Barry Keoghan, I liked. The Cut, which was a box, and it's like a boxing movie with no boxing in it, John. It's all about weight loss. It's all about making the weight.
Oh wow.
For Orlando Bloom. It's like a body horror movie, like extreme weight loss in the span of a week.
Okay.
Night Bitch with Amy Adams was decent, where she plays a woman who believes she's turning into a dog.
I didn't like that trailer, but okay.
Bad trailer. Movie is a little bit better. Heretic was okay.
Okay.
Heretic, I fear that they should not have brought that to the festival. Because that trailer is so good. I would have maybe just left it at that and done like, one of those, like the embargo lifts at like, the Wednesday or Thursday before the movie.
Okay.
I don't think the festival buzz helps this movie. It's a great premise. I just didn't love the execution.
Okay.
There's a new crime movie, Riff Raff, with Pete Davidson and Bill Murray. That was, okay, better in its second half than its first. A new movie with Matt Johnson, the director of Blackberry, called Matt and Mara. That is like a sweet little charming indie movie. We talked about Megalopolis. Then we got the last five. Ron Howard's Eden. Yeah. Disappointing.
What?
A disappointing effort from Ron Howard. Should not have taken it to the festival.
What? I read some really positive reviews on this. Wow.
No, this is like an interesting story. I mean, it's hard to fault the execution, I suppose, but like the cast, you can't ask for a much better cast, but it's just not there. It's not there. He's the wrong person to have directed this. It's not sexy.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Because a lot of people are saying this is his grittiest, darkest, most brutal film that he's ever directed. So you're saying it's okay, not that great.
Yeah, not very good in my opinion. Next was The Last Showgirl with Pam Anderson, which is like, she's getting the best reviews of her career, but like, and sure, I give her credit, but this movie was ultimately beyond her reach. If you had like a real actress playing this role, I think it would be a very different movie. It plays off of her iconography, which I think lends it, something that maybe having some great actress would not have given it, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't really make up for the talent deficit, quite frankly. Dave Bautista was fantastic though, and Jamie Lee Curtis too. So I guess this is an interesting sort of failure. Okay. The three that did not work for me at all were The End, the musical from Joshua Oppenheimer, who did those documentaries, The Act of Killing and The Look of Silence.
Oh, okay.
Like a musical with Tilda Swinton and Michael Shannon. Couldn't fucking stand that movie.
Okay.
I saw some movie, It Doesn't Get Any Better Than This, which is like a YouTube found footage kind of thing. Okay. Pass. And then Joseph Kahn's Ick was not for me. That is for fans of Detention more than Bodied.
Oh, okay. Mani Suvari in this one, is that right? With Brandon Routh, is that what you're talking about? Interesting.
That is the one. It was A little unwatchable in my opinion, but I appreciated Joseph inviting me, and the soundtrack is great.
That's cool. All right. So clearly, if you haven't mentioned it, you didn't see it, right? So you didn't see A Real Pain.
I see that next Wednesday.
You've seen already The Substance, right?
Love The Substance up until the last 15 minutes when it goes off the fucking rails.
Right. We said that. And then Life of Chuck, you didn't see that one.
Miss Life of Chuck.
Okay.
Heard good things about it, though.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. That's the TIFF rundown from Jeff Sneider.
We'll have awards tonight, gossip tonight, like sales rumor stuff, winners and losers, grades for everything. It's going to be fucking a wild party for TIFF people.
A wild party. All right. So let's take a break after that. And on the other side, we'll talk some trailers, James Earl Jones, maybe get into a couple of reviews, and then get into Streamlabs Superchats. How much time you got tonight, Jeff? Because we're already over an hour. What's your feeling here?
Baby, I'll party with you all night.
All right. There we go. We'll be right back right after this. All right, let's get into things here, brother man. Let's do a soft entry back into the show here and talk about James Earl Jones, brother man. We lost him earlier this week, 93 years old, of course, the star of so many fantastic films and creating so many iconic characters in Darth Vader, Mufasa for The Lion King, Field of Dreams, in the Tom Clancy movies with Harrison Ford. Certainly a number of TV appearances on stage, winning 2 Tony Awards. He's an EGOT. He's an EGOT member there, one for Fences, which if you haven't watched on YouTube is one of the most incredible scenes you can watch from that film, or that play rather. But also a lot of stuff in the 70s. People forget about, like Bingo Long and the Traveling All-Stars, The Great White Hope, and a number of other things that he did there as well. And then working well into his 80s and 90s, coming back to revoice Darth Vader for the most recent Star Wars stuff, but also bobbing up in films with like Martin Lawrence, On Will and Grace. So a gentleman who spanned a number of mediums within his performance career, and passing away at 93. Your thoughts on James Earl Jones, your feelings when you heard about the news?
I think that the first thought was Mufasa.
Yeah?
Yeah. There goes a literal lion of cinema.
Great connection there. Yeah.
You like that? You like that, guys?
A lion.
That's why I'm the writer.
A lion.
But yes, James Earl Jones was like a titan, right? He was a Hollywood legend. I know everyone thinks of Star Wars first and foremost, and Field of Dreams, and it's like, you guys know, Star Wars was never my jam. In no world did I think of him first and foremost as, the Darth Vader guy, other than like that's what would be at the head of a New York Times obit. Field of Dreams, I'm not a baseball guy. So like that wasn't really my movie either. Honestly, my movie was Best of the Best, and that's what I wrote in his obit. Like, I love Best of the Best. I've seen Best of the Best like 100 times, and like he's amazing in that as the coach. So that was always my favorite, alongside The Lion King, which it is the best animated movie of all time, along with Toy Story. Like to me, indisputable. Toy Story, Lion King, 1A, 1B as far as like the greatest animated movies ever.
Yeah.
And animation is a medium, it's a medium that's for adults. It's not just for children.
You finally pressured enough to say it. Yeah, for me, it was Conan the Barbarian. Like, I mean, Thulsa Doom, I'm gonna tell you something. When you grow up with the voice of Darth Vader, you don't know what he's like physically, right? And then you see Conan and find out later that is the same person. It is kind of crazy and a bit of a mindfuck when you're a young kid. And I just remember I had that film on VHS, and I wore that VHS out watching Conan over and over and over again. And his majesty to what is essentially a B movie elevates the film. He's a legitimately scary leader of this snake cult that is trying to take out Conan. And so you felt it, so that when he actually does do what he does to Thulsa by the end of the film, you're actually legitimately shocked in that he's accomplished something. And then you see something like Field of Dreams or Coming to America, the lighthearted approach combined with the real reverence to baseball. Just amazing to see the different things. And I'll throw a film out there a lot of people haven't seen, A Family Thing from the early 2000s, I think. Him and Robert Duvall as men who find out that their mother was black, and Robert Duvall has a kind of a white, slightly racist family. James Earl Jones has a black, slightly racist family, and they have to kind of figure out how to come to terms with their birth and then how to come to their feelings about each other's color. That was a fantastic film for a small little gem like that. So there's so much that he did along with his stage work, along with his voiceover work. He's the voice of CNN, the voice of Michigan. If you guys haven't watched, somebody put up the university, because he's the University of Michigan guy. He did the voiceover for some of the intros for the University of Michigan. Do yourself a favor and find that 3-minute intro. It's incredible. And so it's just phenomenal to see that he had no ego about what he did other than trying to be in service of the work. And this is a guy who overcame a stutter in high school and almost gave up acting. And we would have missed out on so many wonderful performances, man. You know?
John, I love John is very serious obituary movie. He's being very respectful to the memory of James Earl Jones, which I appreciate. And yet the whole time I just like, we need to have Susan Farrer on the show. I need to patch her in. I need to ask her everything. She's like, best of the best, save my life. Are you seeing Susan Farrer here in the comments?
No. Susan said
best of the best, save my life. When Chris Penn died, I didn't go to school for a week. Dude, Susan, anytime you want to come on the show, you have a fan and a friend in me.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, that was a great film. That's great. I think his first like Jean-Claude Van Damme movie that we actually see him showcased in that film. I remember Best of the Best. Yeah, Chris Penn, what's he doing in that movie? Well, we send our thoughts of love, strength, and comfort to James Earl Jones's family, to his son, and everybody involved who worked with him and knew him. The tributes were beautiful and glorious over the last few days. So yeah. As well, these trailers here, Jeff. We talked about The Apprentice. You've seen the movie. I love the trailer. I read your review, and the trailer matched your review and made me excited to see Sebastian Stan and Jeremy Strong in these roles. But it's so funny to have watched this trailer right after the debate and the reactions he's having to his dismal performance in the debate mirror everything Roy Cohn is telling him to do in that trailer. It's kind of like a meta situation when you're watching that trailer after the debate. So the timing of this is going to be real curious, as you said, September 27th, but October 11th everywhere.
You know what?
Yeah.
You know what's kind of crazy? I just put this together.
Yeah.
Well, there's like a word or a phrase that comes to mind when I think of this biopic. Did you think of this biopic as, or at least from the trailer, the glimpse that you got, did you think of it as punk rock?
No, because I don't really feel rich people are punk rock. But I did feel a universality in that this is, as you said, this is a guy who is seeking it felt like Wall Street to me, is what it felt like, where Trump is Charlie Sheen and Roy Cohn is Gordon Gekko. And essentially Trump is trying to do whatever he can to get in with Roy Cohn and is going to essentially prostrate himself in order to do it. And Roy is a willing teacher because he sees something in the kid. And whereas Charlie Sheen,
I think that's a great comparison, by the way.
Yeah? Okay. Whereas Charlie Sheen like gets the best of Gekko in a certain way, I feel like Trump is going to eclipse Roy and crush him. And so that's what I think the difference is in the two approaches. Charlie gladly went to jail. Trump is trying to not go to jail by winning the presidency. So that's the difference in the approaches, I think, when you look at it.
I think there's something punk rock about this movie.
Okay.
That feels like unauthorized in a way, right?
Yeah.
And I think that there's a trailer for something else that's going to be coming out.
Oh.
That is also punk rock.
Okay.
And I'll say no more than that.
All right. Fair.
And you guys will get it when it comes out.
Let's move on to Wolfman. What did you think of that teaser that dropped here just a few days ago while you were at TIFF? Wolfman. Lee Winnell.
The Wolfman trailer?
Yeah. What did you think of this? Because people were upset because they saw the picture.
Guys, the guy in the costume at Halloween Horror Nights, can you believe it looks different than the Wolfman in the movie? But let's definitely.
Yeah. I liked the trailer. I thought it was good. I thought it got me scared, and it looks like Julia Garner left her character left Ozark and then went right into this situation in her life. It's perfect. And then Salem's Lot. Any thoughts on Salem's Lot? We got a chance to watch this before we started the show. What are your thoughts on that one?
I thought it looked fine. I mean, but I understand why it's not a theatrical movie. Like Louis Pullman, who's really, really growing on me. Like he was great in Skincare. He was really good in this movie Riff Raff, right, with Pete Davidson and Bill Murray.
Oh yeah.
I understand now how he got cast in Marvel's Thunderbolts, right? Initially, right, as Sentry, wasn't he?
Yeah. Initially,
but he's not in it, right?
I don't. Did he step out of it?
I don't know.
I'm gonna take a look right now. You keep talking.
Or is he still in it? I forget. I honestly, guys, this isn't like a scoop. I'm blanking.
He's still
anyways, he is.
So,
he is. So he is Sentry. He is the replacement, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought that he had dropped out or something.
Well,
he's a good hire. He's really grown on me. He's kind of great. But he's not a star yet.
Okay.
And it's like you can't hold this movie another year until after Thunderbolts. Like it's already been sitting on a shelf for years. And as of now, you can't put it out in theaters. So I get it.
Yeah. Well, if it's a good film, then maybe it'll like keep the momentum going into the next thing.
Literally, if this was like next year or Thunderbolts had come out this summer, like that movie could get a theatrical release. Salem's Lot, but.
All right, so that's that. Okay, what's your thoughts on Michael B. Jordan directing a Thomas Crown Affair remake? I mean, listen, it's going to be hard to improve on the Rene Russo, Pierce Brosnan. That's one of the sexiest, best remakes I've ever seen. And I'm telling you, I don't think the original is that good. That remake was fantastic. So what do you think about Michael B. Jordan tackling a Thomas Crown Affair?
I mean, it's the logical progression for him, I think.
Okay.
I don't mind him directing. I don't know if it's necessarily like the smartest move.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that he needs a hit.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's probably safer to put himself in the hands of like a real filmmaker. But if he wants to accept all that responsibility, he did a good job with Creed 3.
I thought so.
Yeah, he definitely did a good job. So he's certainly capable, and he has every right, you know, to make this his next big effort. But he needs a co-star, and he needs like a legit sexy co-star who can act.
Yeah.
And that's a short list.
Look, I'm a dude. I'm a straight guy, so I don't. I'm just gonna say I don't know that I think of Michael B. Jordan as sexy, and I've always felt that way about Pierce. I've always felt that way about Pierce.
Pierce is a sexy motherfucker.
I mean, from Remington Steel on, Pierce, that's a sexy motherfucker.
Pierce is a sexy motherfucker.
I
think that women like Michael B. Jordan. I think women think that he's sexy.
All right, fair.
Or can be.
I mean, I would hold Pierce Brosnan if he was crying about it. Like I was like, put my arm around him. You know what I'm saying? I'd have no shame about it. No goddamn shame about it.
I mean,
all right.
You need a white girl, right? Isn't that kind of the shame of it? It's like it's going to be a white girl, right?
Amazing. Yes, it has to be, right? It's probably going to be. Yeah, it's probably
Susan's fucking with me right now.
I know she is.
That's true.
Oh, this must be just. I think this is Jamie under a different name. I think this is Jamie messing with you. He said, "I've said it once, I'll say it twice. I won't watch a Thomas Crown reboot unless Michael B. Jordan directs it." Yeah, look, it's probably going to have to be a white woman, which I think is not bad. And interracial, I think this is great.
100%.
Yeah, so why not?
So like, I mean, he's got to go get Sydney Sweeney, right?
Probably.
Like,
yeah, probably. Yeah. Or Florence Pugh. I think Florence Pugh's sexy. Yeah, where do you land on the debate? Christian and I have been battling about this over the last few weeks on his show on Monday. Florence Pugh or Julia Roberts? What do you?
How do you come? What? You can't what are you talking about?
Which one would you?
Like Julia Roberts in her prime? Like, why are we doing this? I don't like this exercise. This makes me feel uncomfortable.
Wow,
this is not for the hot mic show.
That's not for the hot mic.
I'm drawing the line here. I'm not rating women against each other live on the
rating. Saying who do you think is more attractive? That's not rating. This isn't Facebook. We're saying.
I'll tell you if someone's like, I think sexy, like that is a real like. It's funny. I said something in our TIFF review, and a screenwriter texted me. He's like, you can't. I think they were pulling my leg, but like, you can't call somebody sexy anymore in a review. I'm like, yeah, you can. Okay, like these actors are getting hired based on sex appeal.
Yeah, of course
it's a real thing. You have to be able to talk about it as a critic, but you have to be able to talk about it maturely. And I don't think this is the best way.
All right, fair point. All right. Let's hit some reviews here. Rebel Ridge. Did you get a chance to watch this one or no?
I did see Rebel Ridge. I actually liked it on the whole, but it's being a little overrated right now. It's
You
being
do.
hailed as like the second coming, and it's like, guys, let's pump the brakes. This is definitely not as good as Green Room overall, straight up.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, this movie was okay. Like it could have been better.
I think it was like 5 to 8 minutes too long. And I think it could have been a little leaner. But I do love the gutsiness of
He was great.
of making the violence work in a way that you didn't expect. I kind of liked that. And I thought Anna Sophia Robb did a really great job. Of course, Aaron Pierre killed it and was fantastic leading the way. But I thought Anna Sophia Robb and Zhang Zhe, who plays the black police officer, she was fantastic in the back and forth.
I'm an Emery Cohen guy.
Oh, yeah. He was. I think they were like, we know what we got with David Demon. Let's focus on Emery Cohen.
Demon was good.
Yeah, it was.
Demon was good. But yeah, I'm a big Emery Cohen guy. Yeah, like it's a 2.5 star movie. Like I'd have to be feeling pretty generous to give it a 3rd star.
That's nuts. It's at least 3, if not more.
But you're going out of 5, right?
Yes, I'm going out of 4.
Okay. 2.5 star movie is as far as I can go for that. It was not a movie I would be like, oh, good movie. It's a movie that's goodish.
Okay, fair. Did you see Speak No Evil or no?
No, not yet. I saw the original, but I have not seen the new one. I'd like to do like a doubleheader this weekend with that and Beetlejuice because I missed like the real movies this weekend, obviously.
Okay. All right. We'll leave that alone.
I can't believe I'm going back to a movie theater to see more fucking movies this weekend.
It's your job. All right, let's talk about the Tyreek and Tua situation real quick. Tyreek Hill, for those of you, this is the NFL portion for about a few minutes. Tyreek was forcibly taken out of the car by this police officer, Danny Torres, 27-year veteran of the force. And his knee was put on this guy. He was handcuffed. And to be fair, Tyreek was a bit slightly disrespectful to them initially. But they're calling for this officer to be fired. And I think the NFL wants to brush this under the rug big time. But Jeff, I mean, this exposes something here. Why isn't the NFL rattling their sword more loudly in this situation? This is one of their players right outside the stadium being forcibly removed for speeding and reckless driving. But like, it didn't merit that response, I guess. What do you think?
I mean, I agree. Like, he's not given any benefit of the doubt. And I don't know if that's because he's black or because he's famous, right? And they have to make a show of treating him even extra tough, right? Yeah. And not, but like, there are definitely two wrongs going on here. Tyreek is not completely innocent, right? He should have complied and rolled down the window. I mean, we all like, this is like a silly thing. Like, come on, guys, especially if you're a black man in America. Like, you roll down the window and you keep your hands attended to. I know that, and I'm a white guy.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because I don't get special privileges and can go hang out in the glove box and dig through it when the cop's coming up to the door. Like, you keep your hands at 10 and 2 and you roll down the window, and that's how these things go.
Especially if you know you're in the wrong. Right.
I mean, I guess he was speeding. I don't know, or driving recklessly, but like, certainly when you see it's Tyreek Hill and you're a block from the stadium and like, I don't know that. Yeah, the stuff on that tape was justified. It did seem excessive. It was like if he was just a regular citizen, I think he would have been afforded the benefit of the doubt, and especially if he was a white guy.
Yes,
I'm surprised that these officers didn't take the fact that he was Tyreek Hill under consideration. I mean, I know that we don't want that, but it's also like, how can you not?
But then they arrested Calais Campbell, who came to try to
that was the video that like made me sick to my stomach. And like the officer who's like, you got one officer giving the guy instructions to get in your car and get out of here, and the other officer like making a big show of it, like, give me your fucking license, right? Like, you got two guys who aren't on the same page as a guy, right? You don't know who to listen to.
Yeah.
Right. And that's cause for confusion, and confusion leads to people getting shot accidentally on the side of the fucking road. And it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I understand why his teammates pulled over to help him too, but it's also like, you have to understand that there's a danger in that as well. Although, since when can you not pull up and you're not allowed to do that and pull out a phone and film? Like,
yeah. Well, he wasn't even filming. He was talking to his agent. He was talking to Drew Rosenhaus because he wanted to have a witness on the phone to what was going to happen. He was I think he anticipated something was going to happen here.
They don't call the team. It's like if I was them, like you call the GM, and like the GM's the one who calls the chief of police and be like, "We got a situation down here." Like I don't know what Drew Rosenhaus is necessarily supposed to do about it.
Yeah, and
the Dolphins have the relationship with the city.
The other part of this is that the owner of the Dolphins is a pretty hardcore police supporter and a Trump supporter, and he has said not word one about this entire situation. This is one of your star players.
I mean,
so this is a difficult situation.
We should all just be glad that he, made it out of there safe and went on and played a good game or whatever. And he's very lucky. And maybe everybody just agrees to drop it. And Tyreek says, you know what, I'll drive safer around the stadium. And the cops are like, listen, we could have just lost our jobs for that. So.
Yeah. It's true. All right. And then Tua, last night, another concussion, brother. That one looked really bad. Ironically, it was Hamlin, who, of course, had almost lost his life on a football field a few years ago, who made the hit, totally legal hit. There's no malice behind it. But now, I mean, a lot of people are talking about him just taking that money and walking away. What are your feelings on this, man? Do you think it's time?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long it's been or how much money he's accrued, but yeah, I mean, if you're set for life, I don't understand why you'd want to keep taking hits and have your brain sloshed around, even more than it has been. It seems like, there's been 3 documented ones and countless, how many other ones that haven't been. So consult your doctor and listen to them.
Yeah. That's the sad truth of it all. And I mean, of course, we wish him a speedy recovery, but I think at the end, you just take them guaranteed because it's a guaranteed contract. Take the guaranteed portion of the money. The Dolphins should pay him out
unless you think you can win a Super Bowl this year.
Even you think this is the second game of the season. You think it's not going to get rougher? It's a thing. These guys
will, of course. Well, maybe you sit out and like the next 10 games or something and come back in like a couple of months. But unless you think that you're going to win the Super Bowl, I think it might be time to retire. It's the only reason you'd stay.
I agree. All right, let's take one more break and then we'll get into all the Streamlabs and Super Chats Joel sent us. Thank you so much. We'll be right back right after this. All right, Jeff. Let's bring us back here. Let's get into these comments from our viewers here. Let's run through these. Trey Wessel says, I've been waiting all week for the show. Thanks for your work. Jeff, did you see Rebel Ridge? We answered that. We just talked about it there, Trey. Thank you. Spreezy Sports says, hello from Melbourne. Jeff, thanks for all the scoops. Just wondering if you've heard anything regarding the Zelda movie. Jeff.
If I heard anything about the Zelda movie?
Mm-hmm.
No, I have not. Like the live action one. I think it's going to start casting up soon.
Okay.
There may be an animated movie. I don't have confirmation on that yet. Seems like a good idea to me. And I think that those rights are separate, but I can't confirm whether one is actually in the works. So as of now, haven't heard anything on the live action front.
Okay. Spreezy Sports also says, Jeff, do you still think we are getting 2 Star Wars movies in 2026? If so, do you think Mangold's film will take the December spot? Thanks.
I have no idea either way.
Yeah, Iger's saying they're going back to 1 series a year and 2 movies. But yeah, I don't know if we'll get 2 in 2026. Like it seems like they'd already start shooting if they wanted to get this thing done by 2026. Because they're already shooting Mando and Grogu. So I don't know. I feel like they'd already have to have that one going. Samo says, what are both of y'all thoughts on Beetlejuice 2? Well, Jeff hasn't seen it. And I'll say this. I think Keaton was great. Hasn't missed a step. Winona Ryder was fun. Catherine O'Hara was fun. Jenna was a great addition. I think the kid who plays the love interest of Jenna is damn good in the movie as well. But the film is way overstuffed with too many storylines. Justin Theroux, Willem Dafoe, Bellucci, and Jenna Ortega's father in the film, who I think is a fantastic actor, Latino actor. They're kind of wasted in the movie. So but it's still, there's enough here to enjoy if you're a Beetlejuice fan, I think. So that's my thoughts. And Jeff I'm sure people will read your newsletter to find out your thoughts on it.
Yeah. As soon as I see it, of course.
Yeah. Darryl Dudley says, for black actors, how about Morris Chestnut? I
don't see that.
Yeah, I don't see that. Kyle Fielder says one of these most underrated movies of 2023 is Maggie Moore's, starring John Hamm. Oh, that was the one with him and Tina Fey, right? Where there was more than one Maggie Moore. Did you see that one, Jeff, or no? No.
I did see Maggie Moore. I wasn't the biggest fan.
There you go.
Yeah.
Max Sloth says it was great to see Sneider at TIFF after The Brutalist. I saw.
Yeah, great to see you.
And absolutely loved it. I think Rocha will love this historically epic immigrant story. Ooh, now my curiosity's piqued. I didn't know it was an immigrant story. All right, good stuff. Shawnee Bear says it's okay if a man movie has the original men team from the comics that did not have Wolverine a part of the team. Plus, Rocha, I start on Monday at the new career. Hey, congratulations, Shawnee. He's saying it's okay if an X-Men movie, he forgot to put that, X-Men movie has the original X-Men team from the comics that did not have Wolverine a part of the team. Yeah. Sure. Jeff doesn't think so, though. Jeff wants the Wolverine there.
Yeah, you got to have Wolvie. Come on.
There you go. Francisco Lopez says, hey, Jeff, I don't know what to say, but I'm sorry that you're going through that just because of the Beyond the Spider-Verse news. I love you guys, and whoever's sent you those death threats are a fucking sucker. Getting some love.
Yes, indeed. I mean, yeah. Guess it comes with the territory.
Samo says, y'all show feels like the Siskel and Ebert of today. Oh, I wish.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we should be so lucky. Please
pay us that level. I'd be quite happy. Francisco Lopez says, if the Wolverine news is true, I don't mind if he won't be in the first X-Men movie, but I do have a problem. If Jackman comes back as Wolverine after Secret Wars, I want an all-new cast for the X-Men members. I think we're all in that camp, right, Jeff?
Yes, I mean, for sure. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Aaliyah, for the super sticker. Very kind of you. Really appreciate it. Lone Wolf 7619 says, this is a new look, Jeff. I'm loving the sunglasses. Very Hollywood Miranda Priestley.
Thank you.
Yeah, it says, LOL, love and props to both of you. TGIF. Yes, sir. Sean Nicholson says, loving the newsletter, but what's the most frustrating thing about publishing it during a film festival?
I mean, it's just finding the time, right? Because like you just want to maximize your time and see as many movies as possible, but you also are beholden to the audience, which is expecting something. So yeah, you're trying to figure out what you're going to review, when you're going to review it, and try to figure in sleep and meals and all that kind of stuff. I lost like a notch on my belt this week because I barely ate.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I was walking so much I didn't want to pay for Ubers in Toronto.
Alex Oddly says, hey boys, got paid today. Oh, nice. On my way to my first Gwar concert. Yes. Wanted to send Jeff some love. Jeff, after your rant today, I'm subscribing to your newsletter. I appreciate an educated writer. There you go, Jeff.
Well, thank you.
Ewok says, Jeff, will Mikey Madison win the Best Actress Oscar? Seems like Best Actor could be between Domingo, Brody, Fiennes, Craig, and Stan. Who takes it?
This is for which award are we talking about? Best Actress or
Best Actress for Mikey Madison, but then Best Actor for Domingo.
I mean, Brody. I haven't seen this Angelina Jolie movie. She's already won. Mikey Madison was obviously she was terrific in Anora. I just don't know if that's the kind of role that they're going to go for, right? Like this, a stripper. Best Actor, I think is kind of over, to be honest.
Who do you think it is?
I think it's the guy who already won on that list.
Interesting. Okay. A Sewell says, Jeff, you've been talking about how lately movies don't know how to end things anymore. What do you look for in an ending that makes it good to you?
It should be an ending that is like people try to like pull the rug out from under you now with these endings and stuff like that, and make you think that like everything we thought before actually wasn't really the case. And like, I think that endings need to be almost inevitable, right? Like the more that you see them coming, it's almost like the better they are, because that's the only way the story could have and should have ended.
Right.
I actually was a real big fan of the way that the Soderbergh movie Presence ends. I'm not going to say any more than that.
Okay, there you go. Ewok says, also, any updates on Sam Mendes's 4 Beatles films? Yeah, I haven't heard anything. Jeff, have you heard anything on these?
It's been very quiet on that front. Very quiet. Okay.
What do you think that means? That it's not going to happen, or the casting is coming real soon?
No, I think that they're just like writing them and that kind of thing. Yeah.
All right. Buck Teeth Bandit says, hey, Jeff, is the review for Penguin coming tonight? Also, when should we expect casting for the Batman Part 2, which is apparently happening in the winter now to some of these sources. So a lot of people think that might be.
Yeah, I think that Batman 2 will start casting up, maybe next month or whatever. I have no idea.
Okay.
But I imagine they'll want to start locking people down before the holidays.
Right. What about the Penguin? Are you reviewing it tonight?
I am. I think I'm going to be able to finish because it's been a pretty slow news day. But something just came up that may need my attention, so I am not entirely sure. I will do my very best.
Okay, there you go. All right. Fred Tastic says, "Show my love for the hot mic question." Thank you, Fred. I know Glenn Powell is riding a high right now, but is Austin Butler's star not as shiny anymore after Bike Riders? Ooh, it's a good question, Jeff. A good question.
I wouldn't say that. Yeah, I wouldn't say that.
Maybe it's a little rough. Maybe there's a little zhuzh on it. Little zhuzh.
I mean, I think that these movie stars need to go away for a little while. You have to let people miss you, and so maybe again, he's doing the Aronofsky movie. He's going to be back big next year.
True, that's true. Corey H says, "I love the show, guys. Just here to support." Thank you, Corey. But I'll ask a question that has probably been asked already anyway. Any scoops on the Batman? Jeff, have you heard anything? Can you say?
No, I haven't. I haven't heard anything.
Okay. Let's see. What else? Oh, wait. Do I have it up already? No. Okay, good. All right. Two more here. Samo says, do you think A24 will release The Brutalist this year, or will they wait till next year since they got a lot of awards contenders this year with Sing Sing, We Live in Time, and Queer?
Sorry, the question was what?
Do you think A24 will release The Brutalist this year or next year?
I do think that they will release it this year.
Wow.
I think that they would be silly to wait. It feels like a late December kind of release to me. Yeah.
Everything Everywhere All at Once was A24, right? Was that their first Best Picture win?
What was? No, Moonlight.
Oh, right. Moonlight. I forgot about Moonlight. All right. Rocha said, the Nelson twins versus the OI. I think that's what that says. Rocha, seeing as you are a NASCAR fan, what are your thoughts on San Diego possibly getting a 2026 NASCAR street race? Yeah, I think that would be fun, but it's already loud enough down here, and it's getting louder as more people are moving down here. Thanks for following my lead, you fuckers. So another thing that makes it even louder down here, I'm not a fan of, but I know people love racing down here, so I think it'll be good for the community to have that here, especially with NASCAR. So yeah, I'd be excited for that. All right. Oh, wait, we got one more here, Jeff. Mike Mayfair says, is Wedding Crashers 2 going to happen anytime soon? Oh, I don't know about that. Jeff, are you hearing anything?
I think it was, and then it wasn't, and then it was, and then it wasn't. So no, I don't know where it is now.
Okay. All right. And Asul says 3 sunglasses changes in one show. Truly the chaotic.
Way more than that. Give me credit.
Yeah. Look at him now. All right, Jeff, we did it. That's everything. Let's get you out.
Powered through.
We did. We powered through it. Thank you, everyone, for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Thanks for the Streamlabs and Super Chats. Thanks for the lively chat. Had over 500 of you joining us for almost the entire show. So thank you so much. Please remember to subscribe to the channel. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button. So you see when we're dropping content here and when we have to change time sometimes like today, because we're normally Thursday at 4 p.m. PT. Jeff, where can they find you? Subscribe to your newsletter to hear more of your reporting, my man.
TheInsnider.com. All kinds of goodness coming soon.
Go ahead. And you can follow me at The Rocha Says on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. You can follow him at The Insnider. Have a great week, guys. Go see a movie, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode here of The Hot Mic. Peace. Until then.